We've looked at maize, and you get an increase. I can't remember how much, but it wouldn't have been, if I can't remember, it wouldn't have been so much that I'd remember it. So it's probably around that same effect.
The company's been going since 2008. When I started, I went out with the sales guy, and he didn't have time to see me. And I said, why can't I see you? He said, I'm picking grapes on a trial we've been doing with Grapeland. And I said, I'll come and pick grapes with you. And after my second day, I'd humped grapes treated with Grapeland, and we were weighing them on digital scales at the end of the road. This is in Water Creek in South Australia, and they were 33% heavier for the Grapeland vines. And I said to Adam, I hurt my back. It was 2 days, 2 tonnes, and I said, shit, Adam, this stuff really works. And he just looked at me and said, oh yeah, this replicated trial. And I said, I could have read a lot of papers and talked to Martin back in the office, and I got more learning from that day. Then on the drive back to Adelaide, he ran through all the products we tried on. There were 13 different agricultural sectors we were in. And one of the earliest things I did was we said, look, we've got to make money and survive as a company, so we're going to concentrate on dairy and viticulture and pasture for Grapeland, and we're now branching out into the beef feedlots with Mal's help and mixer wagons and that sort of thing, and his ration experience. But I can say, if you go back into our libraries, we've got maize, bananas, avocados, strawberries, lettuce, tomatoes, pine trees, eucalyptus globulus, blue gums, and they're all different scientific results, but what we're doing is we're just bringing it back to be really focused. So
more than happy to continue to work in the maize field, but the one restriction of that is the big producers of maize are in Northern Victoria, Riverina, and the one thing that we're not confident and haven't put the study into is flood irrigation. So spray irrigation, Grapeland's going through spray irrigators fixed or whirlybirds and stuff like that, fine. But at the moment, we're just the whole dilution and flood irrigation is just something that is, and when I say that, like it's fine to put out Grapelands, you know, on this time of year when there's a bit of dew around Northern Victoria, and then flood irrigation afterwards, but just not apply it in the flood irrigated water. So that's why we haven't sort of continued along the maize line as such, but I do know it's being added to maize in Mount Gambier, because a lot of the bigger farms over there are Terragen farms.
Our maize work has only been done under a pivot.
Yeah.
That's all we've only ever looked under a pivot.
Yeah, so we haven't done it because here it's just natural, isn't it? Natural rainfall. It's not pivot. It is pivot or flood.
That's right. We're hoping not to flood.
Yeah. Hoping not to flood, yeah. Correct.
All trails, not farms, done some other pivot, most of the trails.
Yeah.
And the water's bore water, river water. Oh, that's good.
So they're putting it on through the irrigation.
Yeah.
So can we spray the Grapelands out and feed it to our cows and get the same benefit as the Mylo?
Well, there's 2 ways I can answer that. Grapeland's not a feed supplement. Mylo is. It's an excluded nutritional or digestive product, which means it's not a registered product as far as the APVMA is concerned, but it falls into that category of END product, which means it's got to meet all these other requirements, claims, ingredients, and so on. And it does. Mylo meets that, so it is an approved product as a feed supplement, as an excluded nutritional or digestive product. Excluded means it's excluded from the registration process. That's one answer. The other answer is we haven't designed Grapeland for animal consumption. I wouldn't recommend it.
But
I would recommend Mylo as a feed supplement.
So, but
But Mark, can I just jump in? At the University of Queensland, we did in 2016 do a big study on pasture and the dairy cows that ate the pasture.
That's that.
And they had higher milk components and really good protein.
So at what point No. At what point, how long can we leave it on the pasture before we eat it?
Oh,
So
there's
there's
no
no
withholding
withholding.
there.
You can,
Yeah.
there's no withholding, both products have no withholding.
Yeah, there's no.
So you could go, I mean, if you sprayed it in the morning, you could graze it in the afternoon.
So on our most sophisticated farms that we're chasing as the top 20 farms in Australia, our strategy is to sell them both Mylo to go straight into the animals, the calves and the cows, and Greatland 3 times a year on their pastures. And that's a complete package of a sort of natural approach to that farm management. And we think they get a boost from the pasture and a boost from the animals as well. That's our ideal sort of company proposition, but that's evolving.
But Jacob, Perham Holsteins are already practicing those practices. They are using Greatland on their product on their pastures and that through Western Victoria, and they are feeding Mylo. So, and once again, farms that you look them up have got very low cell counts, high fertility and stuff like that. And I mentioned both of them because one does a lot of work in embryos and stuff like that, so really focus on their fertility in the herd at Perham Holsteins, and Jacob's extremely commercial based, large operation. What's he now? Like 12,
1,300
1300
litres.
It's not the
cows.
Russia.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he's still growing. The herd numbers and that's why I double check that. So as much as
He's not
because once you
growing,
put anything on a bit of paper, the numbers can all change tomorrow, sort of thing. So
he's not growing his farm size, he's growing his herd size.
through productivity,
Of course.
he's
That's what it's all about.
very landlocked.
Okay. Any more questions for these guys?
We're around, so if questions don't come to mind now, we're,
Cost is, you want to jump in per litre?
So Mylo's 12 cents per cow per day or per calf per day. Greatlands, if you bought if you're a little hobby farmer and bought 20 litres, it's $50 a hectare, and comes in shuttles, and that's down to $38 a hectare. So 4 litres to 9, 40 litres just spraying it per hectare. So yep. And then you can speak to myself or Danny, and that you soon do your maths on if you're reducing your nitrogen usage, and it's nitrogen usage. It's not you still got to do your other things, but lime and stuff like that. But once again, you're talking about things that are natural, that are helping our soils and that moving forward. It's based around productivity and also cost at the moment, obviously with what's happened in fertiliser world, but the sustainability is where we're focused. It's pretty, I would say 100% of our team, from anyone in the office to right across, that's why we're on board with Terragen. We believe in it, we understand it. From I've come out of the stock feed world where they're not, Mylo doesn't replace these things as such now, but you look at the amount of synthetics and that we've been adding along the way, and you just start to really question where we are. The regulatory forms around the world are starting, there's more and more products going under an S7 banner of being treated as an antibiotic or a rumen modifier that's synthetic. There's a reason why they're doing that. It's whether it's you care about your pastures, your soil, or like myself, absolutely love the dairy cow or cows in general, and just go, what can we do best for them? So,
And I should add that 2 things. Good antimicrobial stewardship is something we promote. So responsible use of antibiotics, you've got to do that. And your vet will tell you when the right time to use antibiotics. As far as Mylo is concerned, it doesn't affect the way you use Mylo. If you have to use antibiotics because your vet tells you you should, you can keep on using Mylo. There's no problems there. So we're not so far left of centre to say this is going to replace all of that other stuff. There's a good time to use antibiotics. Secondly,
reduction of the usage.
yeah, but it's not,
Correct.
as I said, responsible stewardship here. Secondly, and I'm sure you're talking with your agronomist about what you're exporting from the farm in terms of your nitrogens, your calciums and all that sort of stuff. So you've still got to look after that. But you may be able to see a reduction in how much you need to put back in to match what you're exporting from the farm. Again, we're not saying that you can get away without any of that. You've still got to have that balance going.
I think that's, I was a bit worried about the phosphorus level, because some organic products say, you don't need to put any super on, because the natural bacteria will give you what you want. But it's my understanding that microbacteria need phosphorus as well as the plants.
Of course they do.
So we really have to make sure we keep that level up, do we, before you use this?
Well, again, I think you need to have your farm system has to be pretty close to nice, good. Ideally, it'd be really close to optimal. Sometimes that's difficult. For organic producers, how do they get that in? Well, they get that in through their composting, or they import compost. It'll be organic compost, and it'll have phosphorus, and it'll have nitrogen, it'll have potassium, it'll have everything in it. I think you always got to talk to your agronomist, who's probably going to say, look, we've got to lift this a bit. It might be phosphorus, or it might be something. We've got to lift that a bit, and we've got to keep that at about right and get it all right. I don't think you can just say, no, get rid of it.
Yeah.
I think you will find you can reduce the other inputs, and I think the cost, the benefit you see from a cost perspective will clearly outweigh the cost that you incur through $38 a hectare.
Well, thanks for a great presentation.